Well, if we had a picture, it would be nicer. But anyway, this is a picture of the inside of the lock. It's really interesting to see that this lock accepts a sequence of up, down, left, right, and so on, of really any length, but there is no electronics inside. It's like a hash function, but just a mechanical implementation of that. What it actually contains is 4 wheels, and they are turned. If you move this button up, down, left, right, and whatever, you will turn these wheels. And there are gates or openings on these wheels, and if you this would be an opening here, and if they are all at the right position, then this thing can turn and it can pull on a shackle. That is for a lock collector. It's interesting in itself, but we thought it's well, this would be a nice study of how to do a decoding attack from scratch, because nobody had that before. You see, yeah. Actually, it's possible, but really difficult to decode. But it's a nice puzzle. So what you can do is you pull on the shackle of this padlock. You will see how far you can pull the shackle out, and just with any other mechanical combination lock, you will be able to get some side channel information from pulling on the shackle. You will see you can pull it out more if you have another disc set correctly, and so on. And yeah, you just need something which shows you what's inside. This can move up, down, left, right, and so on. You can turn the shackle one by one. You can turn the discs one by one, and in the end, it will open. You get some. Oh, there's actually a picture of the padlock now. Sorry for introducing this too late, but this is the lock, and this is a knob you move up, down, left, right. And if you have some hardware also, then you can actually measure the movement of this part, and then you get all the necessary side channel information to decode that. This was an example of how to decode. Yeah, this is an example of a lock which you could decode. And what's really nice about it from a computer science perspective is that if you don't have a computer, it's a purely mechanical lock, but you really need a computer software program to decode it, to analyze it, and to work with that. Yeah. Yeah, you can get this and try it out. Yeah. Yeah, if you want, we can. If you're interested in that, come to us in the Lockpicking Village tomorrow, and we'll show you a little bit more and have a workshop on that and so on.
One step of the simulation, please.
In this PDF?
We don't have it running as software, but possibly you can tell about how it looks when you move it.
Ray hates flash players.
It needs a flash player, unfortunately, yeah. So one step of the simulation is you push the up key, and this thing will move up, and you will see that this disc turns, this disc turns, and this disc turns. But this computer doesn't have a flash player installed, so...
of course it doesn't.
Yeah.
On me? For not having flash, leave the room.
Yeah, probably on me for programming this in ActionScript, but anyway. So this is a quite nice lock. It takes a long time to decode, to manipulate, and so on. What is even more interesting is a even more complicated lock to decode and to work with, and that's the magnetic code system. What is this? This is not a padlock, but it's a lock for your door or for high security facilities and so on. It's a locking system that needs a magnetic key. There are 4 rotors, things that turn on each side. So there's 8 magnetic rotors in that lock, and each has 8 possible positions. And if you multiply this, come up with 60 million combinations. So this is really a very interesting one. We would consider this one of the last unpicked, undecoded mechanical locks in the world, and therefore Seems to be a nice challenge, right?
I think so, yes.
Yeah.
Should I continue?
Yeah.
Okay. So why is it not picked so far? I mean, it's on the market for about 20 years or something, or 15, at least for quite a while, and nobody ever claimed he had picked it, and also nobody ever claimed he has copied keys. The opposite is the case. Even some experienced lock pickers last year published papers that this is one of the few locks where key control really works. So of course we got interested in knowing, is this true? So what's tricky about it? If you think of a magnetic lock, you possibly would think it's north-south pole magnets oriented in a key, but that's not the case. The keys, the magnets are diametral magnetized. That means they are small disks. And on one, so this is a disk, and on one side, like up, there's north, and on the other side, there's south. So you can have the disk and the key, and it has a rotational position. So it's not just north-south, but it's the orientation, how north and south are oriented in this position. So this is the 8 positions they have for each magnet. The other thing is that inside the lock, there's a thin layer of metal, it's brass or something, between the key and the disks checking the key. So there's no mechanical interaction at all possible. You can't come in with a wire or anything to feel the rotors checking the disks. Additionally, the sidebar checking the disks is loaded with a spring. So if you turn the lock, this small piece goes onto the spring and onto the sidebar. So there's no direct feedback, like in many other safe locks or combination locks, from the sidebar to you turning the lock. You can't really feel if you hit a gate or something. And as an additional layer of security, there are moving sliders in the lock which are not connected to the magnetic stuff, which check a small line on top and the bottom of the key. So you also have a mechanical component which is non-magnetic and preventing you from turning the lock.
Although it has all the stuff inside, it's still not bigger than this one, so it fits into a normal Euro cylinder. And yeah, it's a really interesting lock with lots and lots of mechanic stuff in it. Yeah.
So can it be picked anyway? People tried quite often, and we heard of several attacks. For example, like putting a diametral magnetized magnet in it and rotating it with wires, so you rotate the rotor, but you don't get the feedback. So if you have the disk in the correct position, there would be a gate for the sidebar, but you can't really feel it. Of course, these sliders I mentioned can be picked. This actually is quite relatively easy, I would say. We managed to do it in a few seconds. Sometimes we needed a few minutes. But you can pick the sliders, and the nice thing is you can pick the sliders first. The core rotates a little bit, and then you have just the magnetic part left. So the question, of course, was, can we somehow decode this? And the question that arose while we were checking this, can we at least read it from a key? So to break key control, we would have to be able to read a key. And if you photograph it, you don't see anything, because, of course, there are magnets, and there's not seeable, which is a nice feature. No matter what we do, you can't photograph this key, so you can run around with it on your belt without anybody decoding it. But, of course, you can read them. The most simple approach is to take apart a lock, take the rotors from the lock, and put them on the key. You will see the rotors align in the correct position. You have to differentiate between the 8 possible positions, which is easily doable by eye. Then you also can photograph it. So if you want a quick code reading, put in the rotors, photograph it, you have the key. The other possibility is to use a magnetic fluid card. We will see that later. So you can see at least where the division between north and south is. You don't know what north and south is, so we built another tool. The South Pole Finder, which is a magnetic North Pole on a very small key ring. You put it over the key, and it moves to the position of the South Pole. And then you just have to recognize which of the 8 positions this is to read the key. But what then? As we said, it's key control, and the key is quite difficult, because
what you obviously could do is you could take existing keys, right, and there is magnets in there, and if you look at the combinations which you could have there,